Welcome to Sahara TV, State of the Nation, and with us today to discuss the issues arising from the redesign Naira notes by the Central Bank of Nigeria. And other issues ahead of the 2023 general elections is the national coordinator of the Take It Back movement, Comrade Sanyaolu Juwon. It's nice to have you on Sahara TV.
Thank you. Thanks a lot for having me.
The President, Major General Muhammadu Buhari, retired yesterday, launched and unveiled the new Naira banknotes to the public at the Council Chamber of the State House, Abuja. Nigerians have expressed mixed reactions towards this, while many Nigerians have actually expressed disappointment. Others are positive about it. Let me start by asking you, are you impressed with the new redesigned Naira notes?
No, like most others, I'm not impressed. It's a scam. It's a scam. It's like someone just used like what do they call it? This Snapchat. Anybody can do that. So it's a scam.
Part of the reasons adduced, given by the government, is the fact that President Buhari actually stated that it's long overdue for them to change the current tender that has been in circulation for nearly 20 years, and that the new Naira notes have unique security features that make them difficult to counterfeit. Besides other reasons that have been alluded to, I mean, what's your take on these reasons that have been alluded to by the federal government?
Well, like I said, I don't. It's I think Nigeria has a problem of trying to copy failure. This kind of initiative I think happened in India under some of the analysis they gave. Like maybe you want to cop corruption, cop this, cop that, but it didn't work. India soon found out that it didn't work. So, but in any case, the question of whether the Naira redesign or redesigning the Naira is actually what is a priority is something we really need to subject to critical thinking. Is that a priority for now? Or is our priority, shouldn't our priority be directed towards valuing, ensuring that the Naira has a value that is constantly declining by the second? Before we know it, and in fact, there have been projections that before the end of the year, the Naira exchange to a dollar would have been ridiculously to 1,000. So shouldn't we worry about that instead of giving the Naira and an extravagant facelift that eventually turned out to be a scam? So I think we should be more concerned and bothered about that.
Part of the other reasons that have been alluded to by the central bank is the fact that the Naira note was redesigned to address the issue of individuals who have made currency fraud their main source of income. People who have hidden money that they have stolen, for instance, will either find a way to change it by taking the money out, or will not need to give it the change in the value of Naira. I mean, what's your take on that?
But like I said, the India tried this first. It did not work there. So, and eventually, how would it even cop corruption? Let us assume that, yes, a lot of our politicians have our money stacked everywhere, right? And as of now, a lot of them are already bringing out the cash, spending it for elections already anyways. So and even if the old Naira notes will expire even tomorrow, all they just need to do is just go tie it up with the property as they've been doing. Buy real estate, buy different things, and the money will find itself back into circulation, back into the banking system. So it's who is the rich people or the corrupt people have never been affected by this policy. It has never happened. They've always, because they designed the system, they've always found ways to circumvent it, and eventually they have been doing it anyway. You see, Dino at the last time an event organized for a comrade, a very powerful comrade that we lost here in Abuja, comrade Ariyo. They not brought out cash, 500,000 naira, displaying it. And this is exactly how politicians have started displaying cash. They've been using, but most of their transactions these days have been through cash. They are like desperately pushing out the money, and the ones they could not push out, what are they doing with? They are buying properties with it. So it's not, so who is affected? It's the poor people that always get affected by these policies. But the most fundamental questions, the fundamental issues are not being addressed. The value of the Naira, production, issues of unemployment, issue of education underfunding. These are critical issues, but in any case, I think this jamboree is just targeted at distracting Nigerians from the real issue of incompetence that had been popular with this regime.
You've always stated severally in your comments that it's all a scam, it's all a scam. And another reason that has been adduced is the fact that the currency change also aims to deal a fatal blow to the growing kidnapping and ransom industry.
But those ones are paying, those ones are now paying in foreign currency. I still they are paying ransom in foreign currency. I still seem to remember the Dapchi incident. The Nigerian government paid them in euros, right? So it's not solving anything. And we can even begin to debate who exactly are terrorists. And the truth of the matter is that as much as a lot of us hate to mention Abacha always make one statement about terrorism, and is that if terrorism lasts more than 24 hours, the government is involved. And if you are in doubt, just check out what recently happened with the Kuje prison breakout and the revelations that came up thereafter. You're right. The day of this invasion, all the military personnel that used to be stationed there were pulled out. The DSS operatives that used to be stationed there were taken off duty, opening the ground for easy entry. They had army camouflage. Where did they get all of those stuff? They have to be indeed powerfully connected to the highest offices of the Federal Republic to be able to perpetrate such a jailbreak. I've been at Kuje prison. It is a very, very secure location. You can't just break in there and out as if, but these people stayed as long as an hour operating uninterruptedly, and then we can continue to say that we have the Nigerian government is incapable of solving the problem of terrorism. They are deeply involved in the problems of terrorism. So just like I said, referring to the earlier question, the terrorists don't need to concern themselves with Naira anymore. It has lost its value. They are now dealing in foreign currency.
Now, beyond the core objectives of fighting counterfeiting and sustainability of the financial industry and redesigning, the redesigning of some of the Naira notes is also said to will help INEC to monitor campaign funding and restrict the incidence of vote buying, which has become a menace to Nigeria's electoral system. How positive are you that this will assist INEC in the ahead of the 2023 elections?
Well, I am here to see the commitments of INEC, towards conducting free and fair elections. It is not the first time INEC is making such commitment. In fact, they made it before the Osun State election. Oh, that they were going to call vote buying, they were going to do this, they were going to do that. But we saw how Osun election played out. So I take the words of INEC and most of our security agencies with a pinch of salt. Let us see it happen. And in any case, like I said, I'm yet to see how the matter is that these people designed the system. They've always found a way to circumvent it when it comes to getting their way. Because maybe someone needs to explain to me how pulling out this currency out of SAC. People even do digital transfer these days anyways. So you can take vote buying can be by the way of transfer, and even on the morning or a day before the election, right? People can still go there and go and make withdraw. It doesn't matter, even before the election, the notes would have found their way back into the old notes that found their way back into the central bank vault, right? And the elections is February. They'll be withdrawing a new notes to pay voters. In any case, the whole currency starts being in circulation by I think sometimes in mid-January. So they have new notes to transact with. It's not helping anything. It's just wasteful expenditure, as though targeted at two things: distractions and to enrich some certain member of their cabal. I don't know, because it really makes no meaning. Nothing was done. No redesigning was done really. You can if you have very good background of graphics, anybody could have made that kind of shit. That was sorry for using that language. It's just like filter they use on Snapchat. There was no redesign. That's even if we are to assume maybe the redesigning of Naira notes is even something we should be focusing on right now.
So, in other words, what you're saying is a distraction. Ahead of the 2020 general election, how crucial is that election for this country? And what should have been done differently? I mean, instead of redesigning the Naira notes.
Okay, I think we should be focused more on ensuring a free and fair election. And it's already beginning to look as though the election is being rigged even before it began. And at the front line of most of this thing is, number one, the extreme monetization of the system. It's a major problem. Number two is the role of the media itself. The media has begin to act as some sort of an electoral college that appoints frontliners on behalf of the people. I don't know where or how you determine frontliners. Streamline about a lot of other candidates, and then focus on some three persons with no idea, no alternative. In fact, the election should be about debate on ideas, on alternative ideas. People should have the right to listen to all alternative ideas. The so-called PDP, APC, Labour Party, they aren't saying anything different. In fact, the candidate of the Labour Party said at Arise TV that is not different from the rest of his peers in the PDP and the APC. So what the media indeed should do is to be deliberate about fronting alternative ideas. That is when we say that, okay, you've given equal playing field. There is an idea, hey, right? There should be a different idea that competes with what we see is a trend of trying to shield the people from liberation ideologies that is capable of taking them off this very terrible doldrum we all find ourselves already within the media space. There is an ongoing rigging, and also we must also not fail to point out the role of the security agencies, because the security agencies are mostly complicit in all of this. Very recently, they did some sort of peace accord, right? And the invited presidential candidates, one of them even sent his VP. And this is from a political party, the APC, that has been known to be the main election riggers. They didn't even take it serious enough to appear in person. And meanwhile, all of their boys, the Sanyaolu of this world, all of them who rigged these elections, who should be in this peace accord, or who should be in this peace accord, are not here, because they are the persons who actually foment this violence on the street. If there is anybody who should even be signing peace accord first, is the electoral umpire, INEC, who have always been complicit. The security agencies need to be at the heart of signing this so-called peace accord, because they are the ones that are used by these violent politicians to rig elections. When they are not using them to rig elections, they will just stand aloof as the opposition parties use hoodlums and thugs to steal ballot papers. So unless INEC and security agencies can be held accountable to ensure to delivering a free and fair, and the media too, INEC, the media, and the security agencies, these are the three bodies the Nigerian people need to hold accountable to ensure we have a free and fair election, without which we're just wasting our time.
Now, let me ask you, earlier on you talked about the three major presidential candidates, and the focus is now on them in recent time, just like you have mentioned. Let's get your view on what the long-term implications will be, and if either Tinubu, Atiku, or Peter Obi eventually clinches the presidency, how will it affect Nigerians, and will it put Nigeria on an equal footing with the rest of the Committee of Nations, or will it rather destabilize Nigeria internally?
One of the so-called three candidates already gave you the answer you're looking for. He said it's not different from the other two contesting, which means by implication it means that it's the APC, the APC candidate says is coming to continue the legacies of Buhari, right? So if a Labour Party candidate has said it's not different from the APC candidate, it means they are coming to continue this charade we've been witnessing for the past close to 8 years now. So fundamentally, we are not going to have anything different. They are only coming to consolidate on the sufferings that the past 8 years has imposed on Nigerians. And you can also see it already in their programs. There is Atiku has been vociferous as per saying that it's going to sell off all of our public properties. In fact, it says it. I said the candidate of the Labour Party is also open to such ideas. In fact, he even said clearly that he's going to remove subsidy. In fact, I still remember subsidy on fuel. I still remember Festus Kiyamo's comment, taunting the NLC that does this mean that you people are now in support of fuel subsidy removal? Because we know that it's you people that every time the government removes fuel subsidy, you are going to be on the street protesting and condemning same. Now your candidate, the candidate or the political party, let me put it that the political party to which the NLC is backing is now saying that they are going to remove subsidy. He then asked a rhetorical question that are they in support? Are they now agreeing to fuel subsidy removal? So what does that mean? It means that fundamentally these guys are not different. We are not going to experience nothing. We are going to experience nothing different from what we've been experiencing over the past 8 years. If anything will be different, it will be that the sufferings will be increased exponentially, and Nigerians will be forced again back to the streets.
Now, questions are actually being raised with regards to the candidacy of Bola Ahmed Tinubu. I mean, we have damaging allegations swirling around about him. People are questioning whether Tinubu is even a fit and proper person to be Nigeria's president, considering the fact that Tinubu's life pedigree and backstories are veiled in secrecy. As somebody puts it, in miasma of Dubai. I mean, what's your take on this? And do you think INEC will disqualify Tinubu's candidature?
You see, if I was writing sometime that if we are really in a normal country, if we are living in the same society, neither of the three candidates should be contesting this election. Neither of them should be contesting this election. Tinubu, you've in fact given the valid reason in the form of a question why, in the first instance, he should be taken off the race. I mean, someone who had been convicted convicted in the US. So it's actually a conviction. If you actually must part with your property as some sort of fine. I think Sahara Reporters did this story sometimes in 2009. So other things being equal, in terms of he should not be in this race. Aside even his age, that is obvious that cannot support this endeavor. It is also his antecedent, his record of roguery. He shouldn't be in this race. If there is any race, he should be in the race to contest for the president of one of the prisons. In the Nigerian prisons. Atiku is equally not different. And if, like I said, if we are to be in the same society, the presidential candidates who invested state resources into a family business, in law they call that conflict of interest. It should not be in this. Such candidates should not be in this race. Even if we are to consider the recent Panama Papers, I'm sure you are aware of that investigation where people are stacking money and their investment into tax havens. It's a financial fraud. Such kind of person should not be found occupying public space. The media should not even be discussing their possibility to be elected. And it is quite unfortunate that these are some of the persons the media is referring to as frontliners, persons who are better experienced in roguery, thievery, and manipulation. They've manipulated the system for more than 60 years combined, if we are to add their ancestors that trained them in this act of roguery. So it's an unfortunate situation, but I am happy that the Nigerian people are beginning to see them for who they are. The messages of liberation is gaining ground by the day on the social media and on the streets. And you could tell by some of the campaigns of you could say by some by some of the campaigns, for instance, of the African Action Congress. A lot of discussions have been going. In fact, if there is any political party today speaking to the real issues, the real issues of education funding, the real issues of unemployment, the issues of wage slavery, the issues of privatization, it is the African Action Congress, no other political party. It is quite unfortunate that the Labour Party, that traditionally had this had a pro-labor ideology, have been hijacked by ruling class interests. They no longer discuss issues that affect the poor people. They only discuss on consolidating the wealth of themselves and their friends, nothing more.
Thank you so much, Juwon Sanyaolu, for your interesting perspective on these issues, and we hope that we could get back to you as the campaigns come along. Thank you so much.